Hey there, it is Happy Tuesday. Just gonna make sure I am live on all of the platforms, which it looks like I might be. Let me refresh just 1 second. So, I have a fun topic here for you today. So, we're going to talk about if you are serious about monetizing your mission, you must schedule time to do this. So, what is this? Well, the answer is take right action. But the problem is that most entrepreneurs make two big mistakes. Number one, they don't schedule time. Number two, they don't take right action, which is the reason why 80% of online businesses are failing or they tend to fail. And that is an abysmal failure rate, which we want to fix. So let's face it, if you knew exactly what actions to take, you would be financially free right now. So I have a quote here that I love from Proverbs 14:23. Says, "In all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty." Now look, last year I had over 50 people who joined my American Dream Team and said that they were all in on the mission, they wanted to make money, and they were ready to build a business. And what happened is that 80% of them failed and or quit. And that is tragic. But here's the thing, many of them lacked the clarity to know exactly what they truly wanted to accomplish. They couldn't envision what that success would look like for them. And they didn't have a roadmap or a success plan to get them where they wanted to go. So I find that this is true of most entrepreneurs. So I have talked to thousands of entrepreneurs over the course of the last 10 years. And most of them have absolutely no idea what they want their life to look like 1 year from today. And I typically do ask that question. Most people haven't really thought beyond the moment to figure out where they want to go or what they want their life to look like. So, the online business failure rate is, maybe it's even higher than 80%, maybe it's 90%. Businesses, small businesses, entrepreneurship is hard. It does require building an income stream. It does require some work. And understanding what needs to happen is part of getting where you want to go, right? So the first step really in creating this financial freedom is to understand, what does that freedom look like for you? And then once you know that, understanding, how are you going to get there? What does the plan look like? And once you have the plan, then you know the steps to take. So when you have a clear plan in place and you can see the steps, sort of like having a roadmap, right? If you wanted to take a road trip and you wanted to get from point A to point B, you would look at the map or have the GPS and you would know the steps that you would take to get there. And you would know if you were going in the wrong direction, and you would know if you were going around in circles that you weren't going to get where you wanted to go. And that's what most people do. So, the interesting thing is, I will ask a lot of entrepreneurs will say to me, well, how much time, do I need to devote to my business each week? So if I want to build a business and we do finally figure out what the plan is and how much they want to be earning and what they want their life to look like and what kind of things they want to be doing to serve, then we can back it up a little bit and say, okay, how much time do I need to dedicate on my calendar to actually make that work every single week? And the answer truly is, it depends. There are so many questions that you need to ask yourself in order to figure out what that success plan is going to look like for you and how much time you need to spend to do it. So, what I'm going to do a little something different today. I'm going to ask you to answer some questions that I'm going to go through. And so, either grab a notebook or grab um, a tablet or whatever you take notes on, and let's take a couple of minutes here to kind of just make some notes and let's see where you want to go with your business and how you're going to monetize. So the first question, and I'm going to read these questions. So I'm looking over here at my screen a little bit. What is your mission? If you aren't sure, think of a problem that you see in the world that you would love to contribute to solving. And you can relate that problem. It can be related to health, it can be related to wealth, it can be related to relationships or spirituality or healing, whatever you're passionate about. If something that maybe you're trained in, that you have experience in, that you feel like you could be called to be a part of that solution, just write that down. Like what could your mission be? What do you feel called to do? And would you love to get up and be a part of every single day? Okay. And so the next thing is, how driven are you to achieve your mission? And the answer to this is going to be on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I will do whatever it takes to be able to be a part of that solution and serve people in that capacity. 1 is I hope to God somebody else figures it out because it's a huge problem that I'm worried about. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you fall in your commitment to being a part of that solution? Okay, and the third question is now the same question that I ask everybody. Envision your life 1 year from today. What would you love it to look like? Be specific about this in terms of how much money do you want to be earning? Where does that money come from? What will your work look like? What kind of work are you doing? Where are you living? What's your lifestyle like? When do you work? What other things are you doing? Now, this particular question could take a little bit more time. I'm not going to belabor it right at this moment, but it's worth working with this a little bit offline, right, later. Because, for now, you could just kind of jot down the things that come to your mind, things that you would love to achieve. But you might want to be even more detailed because I think, I talked yesterday about the science of getting rich and how totally important it is to have a vision and to be able to visualize what that success looks like for you. So the more detailed you can be on this, the better. But for now, just write down whatever you feel, number 1, is something that you believe, you have some faith that it's possible, even though you may not know how you're going to do it. But deep in you, you do have the faith that it can happen. So that's what you should have here. And then comes to the point of how much time are you willing to devote to your mission each week? So in order to come up with that time, you're going to need to consider your current commitments. Like what do you already have on your plate that you have to do? What are the responsibilities that you just can't slack on, right? And then you need to figure out, okay, well, that's time that's already spoken for right now, that until I create some other life of freedom, I can't get out of doing. So that's fine. But then where can you carve out time each week to commit to your business? Now, you don't want to overcommit because that, again, is a recipe for failure. This is what a lot of people do. They overestimate or underestimate how much time it's going to take to build their business. And they overestimate how much time they can actually spend on it because they forget that they also just need downtime, right? We all need downtime. We all need to be able to take some time to do nothing, right? But there are probably times when you are watching TV, scrolling through social media, uh, watching YouTube videos, right? Just doing nothing that you realize is more than you need for R&R, right? It's over and above that time that you need, but you do need some downtime. So one of the successful things about time management is scheduling yourself time. My first coach would call it flex time, recognizing that in every week and maybe even in every day and in every month, you need to actually schedule time off. And, even sometimes the blocks of time can get moved around, like I was kind of talking about yesterday. And for me this week, like I've got 2 days of travel to do some personal fun visiting friends. And so I rearrange some of the blocks on my schedule so that I can still get the work things done, but I can move all my blocks of free time and fun time into those 2 days. So think about that and think about, what do you have available? Could you commit 5 to 10 hours every single week to your business? Could you commit 10 or 20 hours a week to a business? Be reasonable though, right? But write it down, make a commitment. What do you feel is reasonable for you? So once you get this, you think about this. The other thing you can think about also is your sleep time. Like, I think sleep is really super important. And so I never tell people to burn the candle at both ends. However, for example, this morning I got up at 4 a.m. Well, it's actually 4:11. I slept in a little bit. But the reason is because there were some things that I'm good at in the morning. Like I flow in the morning. I'm energetic in the morning. My energy levels are high. I'm not necessarily an evening person. So if there's something I want to get done so that I can be done work today at 2 p.m., I'm going to prefer to do it in the morning. Now, for some people, they might say, I'm just going to stay up an extra hour at night and I'm going to do something, commit to work, because that's a high energy time for other people. You have to know yourself. But if you just look at your life, look at a week in the life, right? And figure out, like, could I maybe get up 2 mornings early? Could I maybe at night spend 2 extra hours, an hour here and an hour there, committed to monetizing my mission and making money? If you can answer that, then add it up and figure out, how many hours do you have? So the next question is, how disciplined are you to make time for your mission? And this is a good question, because I found with my team that they weren't. They just weren't. They might show up for a morning meeting, but they did not have specific time carved out for the rest of their day to actually say, during this time, I am going to work on my business. Now, some of them did. And the other problem was, when they actually had that time carved out to work on their business, they didn't know what to do, or they were doing the wrong things, or they were doing things that weren't bringing them forward in their business. So when you can say, okay, I'm going to dedicate 5 to 10 hours a week, but I'm going to do the right action, then you have to know, like, what is that going to look like, right? Because we do know that anything you commit to, even if it's slow and steady, what was that? Slow and steady wins the race. And slow and steady is much better than fits and starts. So if you're somebody who shows up once, for a week, but then you disappear for 3 weeks, then you've lost your momentum. So what we want to be thinking about in terms of monetizing is taking the right action, scheduling time, and continuing to do it in a systematic way so that you have forward motion. Motion is important, even if it's slow motion. You have to keep moving forward. So the idea of this setting this time is it requires some discipline. And discipline, literally, it's a mental game, right? It's just another big reason why many people fail, because they just aren't disciplined enough to follow through with what they commit. And they find everything gets in the way, right? There's always going to be things that get in the way, but it's, are you committed to prioritizing what you want to get done? So one of the reasons why so many people do have a hard time with this discipline is because of conditioning of their mind. So if you've worked in a 9 to 5, you've been conditioned to trade time for money. And so as long as you show up, you'll get paid. Or, if you punch a clock, well, once I punch in, I'm on the clock. It doesn't work that way with entrepreneurship. You can be working, but if you're doing the wrong things and you're not making a contribution or you're not moving forward on your path, those hours don't count. So what I find a lot of people do is they start spending time and they claim that they're working on their business, but they're watching videos, they're taking another course, they're listening to somebody's live stream, they're doing a YouTube video, they're learning more, getting ready to get ready. And that is going to derail you from literally being able to continue to follow the path that you have defined that brings you to the money. So what do you do? Well, you definitely do not want to be random about the time that you spend. You want to schedule the time and know exactly what that action step is that you're supposed to take. Remember, success definitely requires some sacrifice, some dedication, but the rewards will be worth it. So, what I learned from last year with my team is that people need help, right? They need more than just an opportunity. And sometimes they need more than just a mission. People need a mentor. They need somebody to hold them accountable, because until they're strong enough to hold themselves accountable, and even for people who are very disciplined, it's still super helpful to have an accountability partner or coach or mentor, right? So we need to be stronger with that. That's what I learned. I need to help my team in that area. And people need a system to follow. And if you don't have a system, you need to get some help to figure out what is that step-by-step success path or plan that you need to be following to get to where you want to go. Whatever that 12-month goal is, there has to be steps to take to get there. So I am making it my mission to turn that 80% failure rate into an 80% success rate. And I've been really digging in, head down, working on figuring out how to do that. And so what we've done is we've really beefed up our coaching, and we've beefed up the systems that we're going to be able to help people to implement. So we've designed a program that helps people discover their mission, get that clarity, be able to envision what they want for themselves, to create their own success path. Everybody needs to have their own personal success path to know where they're going in the shortest amount of time that's possible to get there. So we've put together all kinds of supportive posts and templates and strategies to help people so that they don't have to worry about what should they do next. So I think that, from the perspective of you as an entrepreneur, you should, if you are struggling to figure out how to make money, it is going to be a case of putting the right action steps into place and scheduling the time to do it. And it's also going to be, if I don't know how to do that, reaching out and getting some help and support from somebody to help you to get that created so that you do know exactly what to do. So if you're interested in what we're doing here with the Women's Impact Network and with the American Dream Team, please reach out. Even if you're just a little bit curious, just type in the comments curious and I'll send you more information, or message me directly and just say curious and I will send you more information. Because really, if you're sitting out there and you know that there's something you should be doing to free your freedom for you and your family, to create a legacy that you want to do, leave for the world, and a mission that you want to fulfill that's on your heart, if you're feeling that calling, it's not going to go away. And so this is the right time to step into it, to step up a little bit and to figure out what's the next steps for you. So thanks for tuning in today, and I will look forward to hearing from you, and I will be back tomorrow. So bye for now.